This is a Strong is a Mindset podcast, episode number 177. Today, we're talking about what fitness really teaches you, that strength isn't built by avoiding pain, it's built by moving through it. This is the Strong is a Mindset podcast, where you'll learn how to build both a strong body and a strong mind by eating, moving, and thinking. I'm your host, physician, personal trainer, certified health coach, and certified life coach, Carrie Holland. Hey, how are you? What's new? What's good? So, what's good here? Well, I just recently wrapped up coaching my son's middle school cross-country team. And now that the season's over, I've been reflecting on what it taught me about exercise, pain, and the strange things we do as humans. So for some of these kids, it was their very first time ever running any real distance. And in middle school cross-country, that means 2 miles, which for a 6th or 7th grader who's never raced before, that might as well be a marathon. And I watched them week after week line up at the start, anxious, nervous, and excited as they knew exactly what was about to happen. They knew that when that gun fired, it was going to hurt. They knew they were going to get tired. And for some, they even knew they were going to puke at the end because that was just their response at the end of the race. But week after week, they showed up and did it anyway. And that is what struck me, the human instinct to willingly walk into discomfort. These kids chose it. I choose it. My clients choose it. We sign up for the run that burns our lungs, the workout that makes our muscles shake, the race that leaves us gasping at the finish line, and we choose it. We choose pain on purpose. And somewhere in that choice is one of the greatest lessons that exercise can teach us. That is, that strength isn't built by avoiding pain, it's built by moving through it. And that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to talk about how the pain you choose in training prepares you for the pain you don't choose, the pain that shows up in real life. Because the truth is, it's all connected. The same strength that gets you through the last half mile or the last rep is also the strength that helps you face hard conversations, setbacks, and the uncomfortable emotions that come with being a human. That is where the real strength comes from. So let's talk about what we know. We know that running doesn't tickle. Lifting weights, it burns. And swimming, for me anyway, is brutal. I don't know about you, but sometimes during my workouts, my body is screaming, holy cow, this hurts. And we know this. Exercise hurts, but in a good way. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes it straight up stinks, and yet we do it. We keep showing up for it. It's such a weird thing, right? We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain, whether that's physical pain, emotional pain, all of it, but yet we turn around and voluntarily sign up for pain. You crawl out of your warm bed before sunrise to go lift heavy stuff. You spend your weekends doing workouts that leave you sore for days. You run races where you know, not think, but know it's going to hurt, and yet you do it willingly. But here's the difference. That kind of pain is on your terms. It's pain you choose. It's structured, it's predictable, and it's safe. You know when it starts, you know it's temporary, and you know why you're doing it. And that makes the pain tolerable and even powerful. Because there's something about willingly walking into that burn, knowing this is going to be hard, knowing you'll want to quit, but you do it anyway. That changes you. That act of willingly taking on the discomfort of exercise, it's proof. It's proof that you can feel something uncomfortable and not back down. It's proof that you can survive the urge to quit. Proof that you can do hard things and still keep moving. Because when the barbell feels like lead or your lungs are on fire halfway through a run, it's not just your muscles getting stronger. There's way more to it than that. It's also your brain learning resilience. It's your nervous system learning to stay with you, to stay in the moment, stay in your body, stay with the work instead of checking out. And when that pain is over and you rack your weights or you stop your watch, there's relief. There's pride. And there's also that sweet moment in your head when you tell yourself, yeah, I did that. But there's something even deeper that happens underneath all of that. When you take yourself all the way through the pain of exercise, you start to trust yourself a little more. And here's why that happens. Every time you follow through on something that's uncomfortable, every time you do the thing you said you would do, even after your brain has offered you every excuse not to, you show yourself that your word means something. And that right there, that is what builds self-trust. You're teaching yourself that when it gets hard, you don't bail. You can count on you. And the more you do that, the more reps you get at keeping your promises, even when it's uncomfortable, the more solid that belief becomes. And it stops being about fitness altogether. You start to believe, hey, if I can push through that hard run, maybe I can handle this hard thing in my relationship or in my career too. And that's how confidence is built, not from mantras, not from motivational pep talks, but from actual lived proof, taking action, doing the hard stuff. And that is what the willful discomfort of exercise really gives you, not just strength, but belief. But let's take this a step further. Because if we're being honest, most of us know that it's way easier to deal with the physical pain of exercise than it is to deal with the emotional pain that comes with being a human. Most of us will happily take sore muscles, burning lungs, or the sting of lactic acid buildup over sadness, fear, rejection, or shame. And that's not because we're weak, it's because physical pain feels predictable. You can see it, you can measure it, you can time it, you know what to expect, how long it lasts, and what you get out of it. It's pain that makes sense. But emotional pain, that's different. Emotional pain is messy. It's invisible. It does not follow a clear arc. There is no timer on it. And when you're in it, it can feel like it is taking over your entire body and you don't know when it's going to end. And that loss of control is what makes emotional pain so scary. So instead of letting ourselves feel it, we try to outrun it. We distract, we plan, we overwork, we scroll, we eat, we drink, we do anything we can to get away from the feeling. Because deep down, we think that if we actually let ourselves feel sadness or anger or grief or loneliness, it might swallow us whole. But it won't. That's one of the most important lessons I've learned. And it's something I remind my clients of all the time. You can feel a negative emotion and still be okay. You won't explode. You won't break. You won't die. It just feels bad. That's it. It's uncomfortable. It's heavy. It sits in your chest like a weight or like a deep pit in your stomach, and you wish it would go away. But if you stay with it, if you let it be there with you without trying to fix it or solve it, it lightens. It always lightens. And that's where the connection comes back to movement, because every time you take yourself through a tough workout, you're practicing this exact skill. You're feeling something intense, the burn, the fatigue, the discomfort. You breathe through it. You stay with it. You let it run its course, and then it passes. Every single time, it passes. So exercise gives you living proof that pain, even the kind that feels unbearable in the moment, always moves. It's not permanent. You can ride it out. And that's the power of challenging yourself physically. When you move your body through the discomfort of exercise, you're teaching your brain that pain doesn't always mean danger. You're teaching it that sometimes pain means growth. Moving your body gives you proof that pain can have a purpose. You show yourself in real time, I can do hard stuff. I can survive discomfort. And the more you practice that, the more your brain believes it. It stops being a motivational quote and becomes something you know deep in your bones. This is why the pain you choose matters. This is not punishment. This is training. It's how you build the capacity to handle the pain you didn't choose, like heartbreak, loss, rejection, or stress. You've already proven that you can stay in the hard space and come out stronger on the other side. And that right there, that is the bridge between what happens in the gym and what happens in your real life. And this is where things get interesting, because your body and your brain handle pain in totally different ways. So your body is pretty straightforward. You challenge it with exercise, then you rest and recover, and your body adapts. You lift the weight, you stress your muscles, and if you give it time to recover, it comes back stronger. There is a clear cause and effect here. You can see the results of your work, and you can even measure those results, whether that's a faster pace, heavier lifts, new muscle, or improved endurance. And that kind of progress is satisfying, it's tangible, it's clear, and it's easy to connect the dots. I worked hard, and it paid off. But what about your brain? It's a little different there because your brain is sneaky. You can't measure your mindset gains in pounds or minutes or reps. And honestly, that's what makes mental and emotional growth feel harder, because there's no app, there's no Oura ring, there's no mirror reflecting your progress back at you. You can't measure it. So changing how you think, how you talk to yourself, or how you handle your emotions, that is all super important work. But it's invisible work. And the real but invisible progress that you can feel but don't actually see can be insanely frustrating. And this is especially true because your brain doesn't follow a straight line. You don't master a mindset the way you master a deadlift. It doesn't work that way. You don't suddenly arrive at a new mindset and things are fine from here on out. You're never really done. So there's no arriving. So for sure, you'll make progress. You'll start catching yourself faster, or notice that you're reacting differently than you used to, or you'll feel more aware. And then one day, you'll find yourself right back in an old pattern that you were trying to break, followed by the thought, I thought I was past this. And that is totally normal. That's part of the process. So your brain, unlike your body, loves to revert to what it already knows. It likes to cling to old thought patterns, old beliefs, and old fears because those are familiar. They're efficient. And when you start challenging those patterns, it's essentially like putting your brain through a new kind of training program, and it won't like it at first. Your brain will resist, it will complain, and it will want to quit early. Expect it. And that is why it's so important to be looking for the right kind of progress. Often, when people get into mindset work, they have an expectation that if they just work hard enough or long enough or read enough self-help books, that one day they will arrive at perfect calm and positivity. Or was that just me? But when we're talking about your mindset and your well-being and your soul, we have to redefine what success actually is. And that is going to look like smaller things, like noticing your triggers faster, or shortening the time between a spiral and a recovery, or being willing to pause before reacting. None of those things are necessarily visible, but they're all signs of progress, and they all count. Those are your mental reps. And just like in fitness, those small but consistent reps, those moments where you catch yourself or try again or stay aware, they all add up. They build strength, endurance, and most importantly, they build belief. The work you do on your mind isn't separate from the work you do on your body. It's the same kind of training. It's the same discomfort, same repetition, and the same stick-to-itiveness. One is just easier to see. And this is what I love so much about fitness. It's really not just something you do. It's training for everything else. The lessons you learn from moving your body, the discipline, the patience, the willingness to feel uncomfortable. Those lessons don't just stay in the gym. They come with you. They show up in your relationships, in your career, in how you handle stress, in how you talk to yourself. And here are some of the biggest parallels I see between fitness and life. These are the lessons that go way beyond your muscles. In strength training, progressive overload is how you get stronger. The idea behind progressive overload is that in order to build muscle, you have to slowly, over time, increase the stress you apply to it. So very simple, that means you don't start by loading the barbell with 200 pounds and going for broke. Instead, you start with what you can handle, and then you add a little more. That may look like a 2.5-pound weight plate added to the barbell, or a few more seconds on your run or your bike, or one more rep. All of those add up, and over time, that tiny bit of added stress creates serious strength. And life works the same way. Think about it. You don't build confidence or resilience overnight. You build it by facing small challenges and proving to yourself over and over that you can handle them. That is how you grow your capacity to handle discomfort. And one of my clients demonstrated exactly this during our time together. Before we started working together, she had tried to change her habits and lose weight dozens of times. And with every attempt, she always went all in, cutting out everything, overhauling her schedule, expecting instant results, crashing when she got frustrated that change wasn't happening fast enough. And as you can imagine, it never worked. So when we started working together, we were very strategic about starting small. First, she focused on getting more protein in her diet. And then once she had that nailed, she added more vegetables to her meals. And then once she felt like she had her diet where she wanted, only then did we start focusing on exercise. And she started out by lifting weights. And little by little, she stacked her changes. And after months of doing this, she was down 15 pounds and stronger than she'd ever been. And it's not because she made one huge leap. It was because she took one small step over and over again. And that is progressive overload in real life. And here's the other thing to know. Building strength is not just about pushing harder. Progress isn't just found in the grind, it's also found in the rest that follows. Because just like in training, you can't keep adding weight forever. At some point, you have to recover. And I had to learn that one the hard way. Rest days are essential because growth happens in recovery. And this one's a tough one for me. I hate rest days. The truth is, you don't get stronger during your workout. You get stronger during the recovery that follows. That's when your muscles have time to repair and build. And again, that's true outside the gym too. You need recovery. You need stillness. You need to rest your brain and your body and your emotions. And I learned that the hard way too, by overworking and pushing myself until I had absolutely nothing left to give. I didn't know any other way other than to keep pushing harder. And it took me years to understand that rest is not weakness. It's actually strategy. It's how you come back stronger. It's how you prevent yourself from burning out. Because if you never let yourself stop, you don't get stronger, you just get depleted. And once you learn to rest, once you stop treating recovery like the enemy, something really cool happens. You realize it's not the intensity of your effort that matters most. Instead, it's consistency. And if there's one thing that fitness has shown me, it's that the magic is in the repetition. meaning you don't get stronger from one big workout that you do once a month. Instead, you get stronger by showing up repeatedly, even when you don't want to. So remember that when it comes to working out, there are days when you'll crush it, and there are some days it will be so-so. And then there are some workouts that just straight up stink. But it honestly doesn't really matter because no matter how the workout went, you always have the opportunity to show up and try again tomorrow. And the more you do show up, the more you start to believe in yourself. You prove to yourself, I keep my word. And that is not just about workouts. That's how you build trust in yourself, in business, in relationships, in every area of your life. And your consistency becomes your identity. You don't have to think, well, will I do it today? You just do because it's who you are. And that's how confidence is built, through the quiet, plain, boring repetition of doing what you said you'd do, even when no one's looking and long after the motivation wears off. And if your repetitions build trust, then your pain will also build wisdom, because pain, whether it's physical or emotional, always has something to teach you. Pain is not a sign that you're broken or that something is wrong with you. Really, that pain is a signal. In the gym, you learn this real fast. You learn to tell the difference between what feels hard and what feels harmful. Hard means you're working, you're growing, and you're getting stronger. It's like when you go for a new max on the squat rack. But harmful, on the other hand, means you're overdoing it, or your form's off, and you need to adjust or else you'll end up injured. Like when you're pulling too much weight on a deadlift and you rely too much on your back and you end up pulling it. No good. So with time, you get information. You start to understand your limits and your thresholds. You learn the kind of pain that you can bear and the kind of pain that says you need to adjust. You also learn to listen and stay calm when something feels uncomfortable. So in essence, you don't freak out, you assess. And again, the same idea applies to life. So think about it. Emotional pain, stress, frustration, failure, none of those mean you're doing it wrong. Those are all part of being human. And when you feel those emotions, it doesn't mean you need to fix yourself. It just means something needs your attention. That's what pain is. It's feedback. It's pointing you towards something that matters. It's telling you where to look, where to be kind to yourself, where to hold on, and where to let go. So every painful moment I've lived, whether it was in my career, with my parents, or in my marriage, every painful moment has taught me something about myself I could not have learned any other way. Those moments have taught me what I value, what I need, what I will and won't tolerate, and what I'm capable of. So now, with this hard-earned knowledge, instead of running from pain, I try to see it for what it is, information. It's really not danger. Instead, I see it as direction. And that right there, that's the bigger point. Because everything you do in fitness, how you push, how you rest, how you respond to pain, it all reveals something about you. It's not just about sets and reps and new maxes on the bench press, okay? It's about the relationship you have with yourself when you're doing the work. That's what fitness really shows you. It's not just changing your body, it's showing you who you are when things get hard. And that brings me to this last essential parallel, and that is what you practice physically shows you who you are. This, honestly, is the truth underneath it all. How you move your body tells you a lot about how you move through life, because the way you show up to a workout, that same mindset usually shows up everywhere else. If you quit when it gets hard, you probably do that in other places too. If you push yourself to exhaustion and never rest, chances are good you do that outside the gym too. If you beat yourself up after a less than perfect workout, maybe you do that in other parts of your life. But the opposite is also true. When you show up consistently, even when it's hard, and even when you don't feel like it, you prove something to yourself. You prove you've got your own back and follow through. When you give yourself grace on the days it didn't go as planned, or patience when things take much longer than you thought, that also translates. And that is what I love about fitness. It's not just about strength or speed or size or muscle. It's really a mirror. Fitness reflects how you handle challenge, how you treat yourself under pressure, and how you show up when no one's watching. It really is a dry run where you get to practice being the kind of person you want to be. And that's what fitness really is. It's practice. Every time you move your body, you learn something about yourself, how you respond when it hurts, what you say to yourself when you struggle, how you act when no one else is there to see it. And all of that matters. You're shaping your identity rep by rep, workout by workout. So you're really not just training your muscles. You're training your mindset. You're learning how to be steady, how to stay, and how to keep showing up. And that's what makes fitness so powerful. It's not just about changing what your body can do, it's about transforming who you believe yourself to be. So here is what I want you to take away from all this. Fitness, it is so much more than exercise. It is not punishment, certainly not perfection. And it's not just about changing how your body looks. It's really practice for life. Every time you train, you're rehearsing something: discipline, self-respect, grit, perseverance, the pursuit of better. And maybe most importantly, you're rehearsing the willingness to feel discomfort and still move forward. Because every rep, every mile, every bead of sweat, it's teaching you how to show up for yourself, how to stay when things inevitably get hard, and how to keep going when it would be so much easier to quit. So it's not just about building strength in your body. It's about building belief in your mind. Because the pain you choose in training is what prepares you for the pain you don't choose in real life. And once you know you can handle that, you stop doubting yourself. You stop waiting for perfect conditions, and you realize you already have everything you need to do the hard things. So that is what I want you to remember. Fitness isn't just about what you're doing. It's also about who you are becoming while you do it. So yes, fitness builds muscle, but more than that, it builds you. And if you want help with this, let's go. When you coach with me, you'll learn how to challenge yourself in a way that feels powerful instead of punishing. So you can stop doubting and start showing up differently. Check out my website, send me a message at www.carriehollandmd.com/contact, and let's talk about how coaching will help you build strength from the inside out. All right? Thank you again for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you again next week. Hey, if you want to build muscle but don't know where to start, I've got you covered. Head over to carriehollandmd.com/buildstrength and download my free guide to help you maximize your strength training. Inside, you'll find the essential exercises for building muscle, plus simple 1, 2, and 3-day workout plans that you can follow with just dumbbells and a bench. You'll also find strength training tips to help you train smarter and see real results. My goal is to help you get strong, and this strength training guide will help you do it. Go to carriehollandmd.com/buildstrength and check it out. Thank you for listening to the Strong is a Mindset podcast. If you want to learn more about how to build both a strong mind and a strong body by eating, moving, and most importantly, thinking, check out carriehollandmd.com.